Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. Using girls on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Welcome to another ZX Spectrum versus Commodore 64 comparison video. In this video I'll be taking a look at this Fist Plus on the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64, otherwise it wouldn't be a Playground Wars video. This was released by Firebird in 1988 and it's a sequel to Fist 2, released by Melbourne House in 1986, which is a sequel to the original Way of the Exploding Fist, released by Melbourne House in 1985, which is one of the most famous and just groundbreaking and absolutely amazing fighting games on the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 and pretty much every other system because it got a release. Now the reason I'm doing this game is because obviously I've compared Where the Exploding Fist against the Spectrum and the Commodore, and I've compared its main rival, or you could argue the better version of this IK Plus by System 3 against the Spectrum and the Commodore. So I thought I may as well compare Way of the Exploding Fist because it's an interesting history, right? So in 1985 System 3 released International Karate, and that was on the Spectrum, and that wasn't very good. And then didn't is it Data East who made Karate Champ? Tried to sue him, but that got thrown out. And then in 1985 Melbourne House, I'm assuming at this point they are owned by Firebird, released Where the Exploding Fist. And you're like, all these games that are so similar, how, you know, well, it's, you know, back then, like, I guess suing people was, well, you just didn't do it. It wasn't very nice, it was a bit rude. Look, music. But yeah, since Where the Exploding Fist on the Commodore Spectrum is so good, and Fist 2 is disappointing. I have a gameplay of it on the Spectrum. It's a little bit too ambitious. Well, it's not just a fighting game. There is a fighting game on the other side of the tape where you have life bars, not, you know, 1 or 2 hits, or yin and yang. And yeah, that's, well, because, I don't know, it's a bonus. It's just there because in Fist 2 you have to constantly hit people until the health goes down, and that's a practice mode. But the essential game is running around collecting scrolls, climbing up ladders, you know, exploring places, and it didn't really work, although I kind of liked it back in the day. So this was a return to, I guess, copying System 3. I do like what they're doing with the letters at the bottom. And then, well, in 1987 International Karate Plus came out, so why don't we rip them off and do our version of that? It's not going to compete with that. I think that's a no-brainer. But I thought it'd be fun to compare it. Anyway, right, that's all the boring shit out the way at the start. Let's get into this. Now, it is simultaneous 3 players. You'll see how it does that in a moment, which is really impressive. And, right, look, they get around attribute class by having all the colour in the background above your heads. Right, there we go. Fist Plus, I like what they did there. They spelt the word Fist Plus out of bricks and gave you a nice little alley at the right, but really no idea what I've done that. Space. Right, 1, 2 player start, 3 player start. Beneath that, player A does it in Kempston, player B does it in Sinclair 1, so you know you have a Kempston, or you have an interface, or 2 interfaces I guess, I don't know. I didn't know if you could hook up a Kempston as well as a Sinclair at the same time. Unless it was a +2 or 3. C will be keyboard. I've got it set to Kempston for player A, so it's a fair comparison against what it is on the Commodore 64. To be blatantly, you know, honest, it's far easier on keys because of the way you set them, which is you have an up, an upright, a forward, a down forward, a down back, a back, an up back, and punch and kick. And yeah, it takes a hell of a lot to get used to, but then you can start pulling off like 16 moves. Is that their move list? But yeah, so anyway, boring, let's get into it. 3 bars at the top, you know, and it tells you, remember from the original screen, you know, yellow, blue and green in the score beneath, and there you go. Right, let's try that again. 1 player start. I don't think it got very good reviews back in the day. I think most people kind of considered it a very, even though impressive that it had 3 people controlling it, weak compared graphically and animation wise, but we'll get to that in a moment, to the original Way of the Exploding Fist. There we go. Right, I'm the bloke on the left, eagerly running into back wall down the road from me. battle, and oh, turn around. There we go, that's fire. Look, they got coke in it. Oh, look at that. 2 for the price of 1. Oh no. So right, you got sound effects, you haven't got music. Yeah, look, you could have got super coke, surely. Got hit points. It's a bit odd to change direction. You can learn it. I should have read a book before I played it. A book? Yeah, you know, War and Peace or something. That would have helped me massively with this. Oh, it is satisfying when you land it. And the animation may not be as good as where the exploding fist, but it's, I don't know why I emphasised the word fist then. Oh, but it's pretty good. It's way above other fighting games on the Spectrum. But, I don't know, did it take a hit because you got 3 people on the screen at once? Look at that, back elbow. Oh, have I got another? Oh, double punch. You know those punches like double punches? Yes, Otto, I do. Like I said, you can get used to it. Ah, aha. But, I mean, I've just jumped straight into this. Oh, but I'm still sexy, look at that. Right. That's up and far. Nope. I really should have read the instructions. Ooh. Up and punch. Ow. Didn't it? Oh. Player 2 wins the bout. Player 3 is knocked out. So what? What does that mean for me? Prepare for second bout. It means I'm still in there. And now it... Oh. There's still 3 people. How does that work? See, it would have been better if it went down to 2. Yeah, like I said, the controls are reasonably tight. You got this problem in the original way of the exploding fist. Turning around is an issue. But not impossible. It's about basically remembering the button combinations. Because I'm playing on the Kempston, so you only have 1 fire button. Which is why if you play on keys, all those multiple directions came in. But yeah, I like the graphics. Little cheat around, you know, attribute clash in the background. But they did that on all the way of the exploding fists. 3 people on the screen. Really, really impressive. Don't let the fact that I'm shit at it put you off. Because it's no original fist. It dumps all over fist too. Weird, keep saying fist too much. Well, obviously. But, yeah, it's impressive. Put it this way. If Fist 1 didn't exist, again, too much fisting. Oh dear. Yeah, Fist 1 didn't exist, then this would be hella impressive. Because the aside of the sequel, the second game, I'm going to try and not say Fist so much, that, you know, like I said, the fact that he didn't have this one hit down thing and just kept twatting them, didn't work. Oh, he turned around. Wish I know how to. Hey, I'm just going to do that. How do I fly? Oh, that works. That little noise, like, you know, like your tinfoil hat. It's epic. Oh. How do I turn the... Well, I kind of am turning around, just not as much as I want. Ew. Oh. Complete lack of music is annoying. I mean, surely we could have had that as well as sound effects. That was me! Or was it? The only difference between the other bloke is a hat. Well, I mean, if you had this back in the day on the Spectrum, how did you hook up 2 joysticks? Curious. Didn't have enough joysticks or a Sinclair as well as a Kempston interface to do it. Player 2 wins the bout. Player 3 is knocked out. So I mean again, what's this, bout 3? Go look at me. Player 1's bonus game. Oh yeah, it's got bonus games. It thinks it's Shinobi. Yeah, I'm ready. Got to keep pressing the keys for. Oh look, look. Oh, you throw shit at it. That's really poor. Okay, you score, but I'm still going. Am I? Yeah. Who's this Dan? And why is there only one of them? Ow. I can see why they didn't like it compared to the first one. It's just because impressive with 3 people or not on the screen at once. It just controls poorly compared to the first one. And, I mean, how can it be less well animated? Right, And he looks too bandy when he does that. That's a real phrase, bandy. Hey, why was there no sound effects, that one? Fuck you, Dan, and your first. Right, well, I think you get the impression. It's alright, it's just... Flail! No. I hope you're keeping up with who I am. I'm at the back of the screen now. It's just underwhelming compared to the original game. Oh, I like what they tried to do. Well, what they tried to do was just rip off IK Plus. I mean, they even got Plus at the end of it. But, you know, at least they had a go. And if you know, was it Melbourne House? They'd just been bought over by Firebird? Although this one was by Beamsoft, isn't it? And Firebird just released it. Anyway, sorry, waffleage. Let's have a look at the Commodore 64 version. And I think you might know how this one's going to play out. Yoink! Okay, can you hear that music? She's a model and she's looking good. Nothing is sacred in these days. Nothing is sacred. That's an absolutely awesome tune there. Is this the hacked ROM, or was this on the front of the original game? I don't know. I want to say it's on the front of the original game because it says Fist Plus on there. Normally these sort of hacked trailers have something different, but I'll take it. It's nothing to do with the comparison. I just like the music. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, it's safe to say you know this is going to be the Spectrum version, but as I mentioned, the Spectrum version, I was going to say is that because there's 3 people on the screen, but there were 3 people on the Spectrum version of IK Plus, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's just disappointing compared to the first game, but this is disappointing compared to IK Plus, and that came out a year before. Anyway, waffling over. Right, so we're not actually playing it at the moment. This is a demo screen, but this is where you kick off, kick off, no pun intended, into the game. Immediately you can see it's far more colourful and it's far easier to follow whichever fighter is yours. But the way the screen is set out is the same. You have 3 health bars at the top, depending on the colour of your gi. See what I did there? Unless you're doing Taekwondo, then it's a go-bok. See what I also did there? Anyway, this is really nice animation and does resemble the original Where the Exploding Fist on the Commodore 64. You've got music and sound effects at the same time, which doesn't normally happen. It's always one or the other, although obviously you can do both like you can see here. However, I am going to be honest and say that that constant wha noise does start to grate a little bit. So I wonder if you can, well, I was going to say wonder if you can turn it off because it was one or the other in the first game, but it's kind of, you want to hear the slappy noises to make sure you know that you're hitting them. Anyway, I think you get what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. Right, ready? We got the ladies telling us to go kick some ass. Now, the animation is far better than the Spectrum version, which, to be honest, when you think, well, isn't it going to be? That's what my point being with the Spectrum version being weak, because the animation on the original Where the Exploding Fist on the Spectrum was on par with the Commodore 64. Seriously. Look it up. I've got a video of it. And also, while this, you know, had colour and stuff like that on the Commodore version, we're talking the original Where the Exploding Fist, the sprites on the Spectrum version were sharper. They just lacked colour. So that's what I'm seeing it mean is this. Oh, look at that. The Spectrum version is weak of Fist Plus. Hey! It's a bit smoother to control as well, even though I'm on a joystick. Right, I'm assuming this... Oh, look, this is what I meant. It thinks it's Shinobi. I just hit someone. That is awkward. Shinobi it's not when it comes to bonus stages. I don't know if I would have wanted a bonus stage like this, or the Spectrum version. I'd just rather would have had, you know, bouncing the balls around like IK Plus. But anyway, right. Sorry, my commentary's a bit all over the shop, but yeah, it plays alright, it's smoother than the Spectrum, it looks better than the Spectrum, it sounds better than the Spectrum, but here's the thing, and I know it's not about that game, but considering it came out a year afterwards, IK Plus dumps all over this from a very high plateau. It really does. Look up that comparison video as well. Right. Come on, turn around, there we go. It's all your diagonals, your ups and your down diagonals. Again, I'm not doing the controls any justice because on both versions of this, Spectrum and Commodore, it is fully playable. You just need to have read the instructions first before you do it. And to be fair, that's the same with the original Hey, look at that. You can back up, I do like that. The original red exploding fist. Yeah, upright twice. And I turn around. Now I know that. I do like the days on you as well. That's stolen from IK Plus. Right. Actually, the controls, once you start getting used to them, are epic. They are, I don't want this, they are sharper than the Spectrum version. I mean, I said from the start that version was going to win, didn't I? I still wanted to show it though, because it's an impressive, you know, sort of achievement. 3 people on the screen at the same time, I mean, come on, Mars, look at it! Up left will turn me around again. Because I knew that on the Spectrum version. Oh, that's so epic. Flying kick. Elbow. Yeah, double up left, double up right, that's how you turn around. White stays. Oh. You know what, it's not as good as IK Plus. I know this is not really a comparison against that, but the point is that's the Grandmaster. But it is a good and interesting fighting game. Oh, that back elbow's amazing sauce. Right, well there you go. Summing it up, I think I've pretty much summed it up. This is far better than the Spectrum version, not just because of the colour, but the control seems to be better as well, as is the animation, but there is no reason for that, because as I said, the original way of the exploding fist, you know, look at that, Bog off, sorry, did, you know, amazing animation that was easy on par with the Commodore, but yeah, this wins. However, they all lose compared to the both excellent versions of IK Plus on the Spectrum and Commodore. As always, I'd love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.